The year is 184, the Han Dynasty. A name that once commanded the respect of the world is now a hollow giant. Its 400 years of glory have faded into a long twilight shadow. Within the gilded cage of the imperial palace, the mandate of heaven, the divine right to rule, slips away like sand through an emperor's fingers. The great halls, once filled with the sounds of prosperity and order, now echo with a profound silence. This is a kingdom on the brink, a magnificent facade, hiding a core that is rotted through, waiting for the coming storm to bring it all crashing down. The source of this decay is a cancer at the heart of the court, the 10 attendants. These eunuchs, trusted advisors to the young emperor, have become the true masters of the realm. They whisper poison into his ear, isolating him from reality, while they sell government positions to the highest bidder. Incompetent and greedy men are placed in charge of entire provinces, bleeding them dry to enrich themselves and their masters in the capital. Their insatiable avarice has become a plague upon the nation, a sickness that has reached every corner of the empire, leaving no one untouched by their corruption. While the court indulges in decadence, the people suffer. The shadow of the palace stretches long and dark over the land. Fields turn to dust under relentless droughts, and rivers overflow their banks in catastrophic floods omens. The people whisper of heaven's displeasure. Yet the tax collectors still come, demanding more and more to fund the court's luxuries. Families starve, children cry from hunger, and a deep, simmering anger begins to boil beneath the surface of society. This is not mere hardship. It is a profound betrayal, a sickness in the heart of the land that demands a violent cure. That cure came in the form of a man named Zhang Fei. A Taoist mystic and healer, he preached a powerful sermon of change. He spoke of the blue sky of the Han, giving way to a new yellow sky of universal peace and justice. To the desperate masses, his words were a revelation. He gave them a common banner, a yellow scarf, turning their individual suffering into a collective cause. Hundreds of thousands flocked to his side, their despair forged into a weapon. They were no longer victims. They were the instruments of heaven's wrath, ready to wash the land clean with fire. The Yellow Turban Rebellion exploded across 8 provinces simultaneously, catching the complacent Han government completely by surprise. This was not a conventional army. It was a human tidal wave. Farmers armed with sharpened hoes and wood cutting. Axes crashed against the disciplined legions of the empire. They burned government buildings, slaughtered corrupt officials, and fought with the fury of men who had nothing left to lose. The empire, which had stood for centuries against foreign invaders, now found itself in a death spiral, tearing itself apart from within. The chaos was absolute, and the war for China's soul had begun. Amidst the turmoil, the government issued a desperate call for volunteers to defend the dynasty. In the quiet county of Zhuo, a man named Liu Bei read the notice, a deep sigh escaping his lips. Though he made a meager living weaving sandals, royal blood flowed in his veins. He was a distant descendant of the Han emperors. He possessed a profound empathy for the suffering people and a quiet dignity that commanded respect. He dreamed of restoring peace and justice to the land, but felt the bitter sting of his own powerlessness. The call to arms was a call to his destiny, if only he could find a way to answer it. Liu Bei's path led him to a bustling tavern. filled with the smell of spilled wine and the sound of boisterous laughter. Above the din, one voice rose like thunder. It belonged to Zhang Fei, a local butcher and landowner of considerable wealth. With a fierce mustache, a powerful build, and a temper as fiery as his drink, he was a force of nature. Yet beneath his rough exterior was a heart that despised injustice and a spirit fiercely loyal to those he called friends. He was lamenting the state of the empire, wishing aloud he could join the fight against the rebels. As Zhang Fei spoke, the tavern door swung open and the room fell silent. Framed in the doorway was a man of immense stature, nearly 9 feet tall, with a face the color of dark dates and a magnificent beard that flowed down his chest. This was Guan Yu. In his hand, he carried a formidable weapon, the green dragon crescent blade. He was a fugitive, having fled his home after killing a corrupt magistrate who preyed on the innocent. He possessed a calm, stoic demeanor that masked an unbreakable will and a peerless mastery of combat. He was a walking legend of honor and righteousness. Drawn together by their shared desire to bring order to the chaos, the three men began to talk. It was a meeting of 3 powerful currents: Liu Bei's compassionate leadership, Zhang Fei's ferocious passion, and Guan Yu's stoic strength. They spoke for hours, an unspoken recognition passing between them. Each man saw in the others the missing pieces of his own ambition. They were strangers, yet they felt as if they had known each other for a lifetime. In that humble tavern, amidst the turmoil of a failing state, the seeds of a new power were being sown. Moved by their instant connection, the impulsive Zhang Fei made a bold proposal. He invited Liu Bei and Guan Yu to his family estate, to a sprawling garden behind his home where the peach trees were in glorious full bloom. It was an oasis of peace in a world torn by war. The air was thick with the sweet scent of blossoms, and delicate pink petals drifted down like gentle snow. This tranquil sanctuary, so far removed from the rage and bloodshed consuming the empire, would become the sacred ground for the forging of an unbreakable bond. Beneath the branches of the most beautiful peach tree, they prepared for a sacred ceremony. They set up a simple altar and made a sacrifice of a black ox and a white horse, traditional rites for sealing a solemn pledge. They lit incense, its fragrant smoke curling upwards, carrying their intentions to the heavens. 3 cups were filled with wine, ready to be shared. This was to be more than a simple alliance of convenience. They sought to become brothers, bound not by the blood of their birth, but by the strength of their shared purpose and spirit. As the eldest, Liu Bei knelt and spoke first, his voice clear and filled with the weight of his convictions. We 3, Liu Bei, Guan Yu, and Zhang Fei, though born of different families, now join in brotherhood. From this day forward we shall combine our strength and hearts for a common purpose, to support one another in times of trouble, to rescue the faltering nation from its peril, and to bring peace and security to its people. His words were the vision, the noble cause that would serve as the foundation of their pact and the compass for their journey. Next was Guan Yu. His voice, steady and resonant, was a testament to his unshakable character. He spoke with a quiet intensity, his gaze fixed on the heavens. We pledge to uphold righteousness and honor in all our deeds. We do not ask to be born on the same day, in the same month, of the same year. We seek only to die together on the same day, in the same month, of the same year. His vow was the anchor of their brotherhood, a promise of absolute loyalty, a commitment to face any fate, even death itself, as one. Finally, Zhang Fei's booming voice sealed the oath with raw, unbridled emotion. May the spirits of heaven and all-seeing earth bear witness to our hearts. If we should ever betray our vows or forget the kindness we have shown one another, may heaven and man strike us down where we stand. His passionate declaration was the fire of their brotherhood, a promise of fierce devotion and a terrifying curse upon any who would dare to break their sacred bond. The oath was made. Their destinies were now intertwined forever. With the oath sworn, they were no longer three men, but a single entity. Using Zhang Fei's wealth, they armed themselves and recruited several hundred local volunteers eager to join their cause. They forged weapons, prepared their horses, and made ready for war. As they rode out from their village, a small but determined band, they left behind their old lives forever. Before them lay a land engulfed in fire and uncertainty. This single act of brotherhood, sworn in a quiet garden, was the first verse of an epic that would be sung for 1,000 years.